All right, so let's start by finding the challenge here. And this is a multi-step form. Make sure that your account is already logged in. You can use your email or GitHub account to log in or create your account here in the platform. So what are the things that you need to look for when you build this project? Of course, you need the assets from the challenge, and they are giving you this images and design for the layouts that you need to follow, the style guides, the fonts, colors, the images. I think they're also including an icon here. The README file, it's very important because this is the one that will give you more information about how are you going to style your project, how are you going to build your project, and of course the HTML file with pre-written content. It's simple, it's very simple. What you can see here, all the text content is already pre-typed in the HTML file. Okay, so in this challenge, the challenge just requesting us to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But in our case, we're going to build this using Vue.js. Right? So let's click on the Visit Challenge hub. From here, we have two options. One is to download starter files, and second one is to download design file. Again, if you are a pro member of this platform, then it will be a plus for you to so you can use their Figma feature or Sketch feature, and it will be easier for you to build your styles because Figma is already generated for you. But in my case, I don't have any pro membership on this platform, so I'm gonna download the starter files here. So let's click on that, and yeah, so as you can see here in the bottom, I have already finished this project. But in the future, if you wanted to rebuild this project, you can just submit another resolution, and the community just commented something on your project, and that's really good. So if you want to challenge again yourself. All right, so the project is done. So let's check on that here in the downloads folder, and I'm gonna extract that here in the same path. So this is the folder that we get from the project. All right, guys, so what I want to do here is to move this folder, open this in Visual Studio Code so that you can see all the contents inside better, because some of the contents of this folder are readme and you cannot view that directly here in folder manager. So I have already opened a Visual Studio Code here, and let's drag the folder inside and let's maximize it. So here are the things that you're going to see inside. One is for assets, and the asset contains two folders. One is for fonts, so this will be the local fonts that you can use, and the images. So these are the included icons that the platform provide for us. So you need to put this in the Vue projects later. Also, what we have here is the design folder. It's basically the things that I showed you in the demo in the first video. So here are the scenarios that we're going to build, and including the mobile. So we have also a mobile mockup here, and I'm going to input this in Figma later. So because I wanted to see all of the mockups in one view rather than just switching to other tabs just to check on the UI that I'm currently building. So we will do that later. Also, we have an index.html. So this index.html already contains the content inside of the application. Again, it's not really necessary when you are building this in Vue.js, but if you wanted to build this using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, then you're good to go already inside of this folder. Okay, so next is the README. So here are some informations that you need to look for. And this one, another README. And the most important is the style guide. So here we have two layouts that we need to follow. One is for mobile and one is for desktop. They also provided a colors, and the colors has two types. The primary, so the primary are the ones that bright colors, and the neutral is from gray, light gray, and white. Okay, so they're using HSL. I believe HSL stands for hue, saturation, and light. I'm not really sure, but in my case, I'm going to use hex code for that because while building our styles, I'm using Sass, and I'll explain why I prefer to use hex code rather than HSL. But it's still functional if you're going to use HSL on Sass. All right. So they also got a bot typography. So one is for font size in the body. So the regular size will be 16 pixels, and the second one is the font. And they also provided a link for where you can get the Ubuntu. This is the same as the local font here. And again, just what I mentioned earlier, you can use a local font or just the URL to for the resource of your font family. And they have also font weights here, 400, 500, 700, and we can use that also later. All right, so I think everything is here now, and we'll start building the template of Vue.js. All right, so I'm here in my desktop right now, and I'm gonna run cmd here, or terminal, and I'm gonna type in cd desktop. Cd means change directory, and here we're already in the desktop. Cd, and I press tab projects since I only got one folder here in my desktop, and I have to enter. And from here I'm gonna type in view create multi-step-form. Hit enter, and from here we can use manually select features. And from here I'm going to cancel out linter formatter by pressing space, and I'm gonna add Vuex since we need to use the Vuex for managing our global styles. So I think that's pretty much it, and then hit enter. And we're using 3.x. And where do you want to prefer placing config for Babel? Hit enter for in dedicated JSON files. Save this as future projects. We can just no for this, and just wait for your terminal to build the Vue.js app for you. Okay, guys. So from here, we can go to our project now. Cd multi-step form, and then hit enter. And I'm going to type in code dot to open this project in our Visual Studio Code. All right, so we can now close this terminal. So as you can see, my file here says an A. We can just ignore this for now because we're only focusing on building the application. All right, so I'm gonna make this at full screen, and I'm going to open a terminal by using here Control Shift tilde, or you can just go directly here, new terminal. And I'm going to npm run serve to open the server for our Vue.js. So this is the Vue.js template that you'll get once you start building your first component. I mean, this is the welcome page once you created your Vue. All right, and what we need to do is to clean up this project here, so that we can customize everything from scratch. All right, so I have here a source folder, and there is a components. I can just remove this. As you can see, we're getting error, but we can just ignore this for now. And after that, components folder is now empty. Assets, we can also remove this logo. All right, and the store, this is where we going to manage our global state later. All right, so here is the app.vue. This is where the hello world components and the image, the Vue logo in the assets earlier that you see, they are placing it here. That's why we're getting error, because they cannot recognize this, or they cannot see it existing in their perspective folder. So we can just remove it here and place on h1 for hello world. And then for the export default, I'm gonna remove the components hello world, make it as an empty, and the import also, we're going to remove that, and also the style, we can just remove that. Okay, so as you can see, the error is now gone, and let's check the browser, and it's clear now. All right, so what we need to do next is to put the style guide and readme inside of this Vue.js app, so that in the future, if you need to recall something in your project, you can just view it directly here in your folder. Okay, so I prefer to put it here in the root folder. Okay, so I'm gonna select reveal in File Explorer and check for style guide and readme, and put it here in our Vue.js. Excuse me. Folder names readme. So already existing. I want to replace it. Yes, we're going to replace it. Okay, so next, we need also to import our assets here. So I'm gonna minimize this and create the image folder. Actually, we can just open this in the File Explorer and directly import this here in our asset. Okay, so now our assets have already the image, and we can just use this icons later while building. Okay, so what's next? Fonts, again, it's an option, guys. I prefer to use the provided link, but if you want to use the local file, you can just import this in the source folder. All right. So for the design, actually it's also optional for you, but I think I need to place all of this image in another platform, probably in the Figma. Okay, so later I'll show you how to do that. And I think that's pretty much it. So let's focus again on our Vue.js app. And from here, if you look at the browser, our application is pretty ugly, and we can fix some of the basic stylings. So these are the things that I always do when I'm starting a project from scratch. So from here, from the source folder, I'm going to create a folder called styles. And from the styles folder, I'm going to create main.css. So this main.css is the one that we're going to link in our main.js. So inside, again, in the styles folder, I'm going to create main.sass, since we're using Sass for styling our components. And what we need to do is to open this folder in an integrated terminal and run a command called sass dash watch main.sass, then main.css. Sorry. Hit enter. So what does this mean? It means that whatever we type in this main.sass will be automatically converted into plain CSS, because our browser cannot read Sass files, but they can read CSS files. That's why we need to convert everything in vanilla CSS. So I'm gonna try to show you an example of how does this work. So these are the basic stylings that I always remove when I'm starting a project from scratch. So margin 0, padding 0, box sizing, border box. By the way, guys, if you're using Sass, you don't need to use brackets in styling. You can just enter on the next line and type all the properties on your CSS. That's the really good thing about Sass. But there are some instances of using Sass. For example, in the SASS, you still need to use bracket. But here, we don't need that here. So when I hit save, as you can see, from our code here, it automatically converts in plain CSS. And also, we got a message that that our compilation is successfully executed. And I believe Sass is smart enough to determine what are the errors in your code. So I'm gonna show you an example test, and when I hit save, you see Sass will also give you a warning and show it to you what line you're getting an error. All right, so and that's I think it's a really good point for using Sass. Okay, so I hit save again. And let's see if this is running on the browser. Nope. Okay, so I think we forgot to link that in our main.js. So from here, we can just import /styles. Again, you only need to import main.css and hit save. So if we check on our browser, yes, it's working. So let's try another example so that we will see that it's really working. So let's target the h1 and let's try to change the color. Color will be red, and when I hit save, again it is converted in plain CSS. Let's check on the browser and it becomes red. All right, so now that our styles is already set up, let's create another folder again for inside the styles. We should call it global. Global is the one that holding all the styles globally. And what I need to do here is to create a file called global.sass. Hit enter, and from here I just wanted to transfer what we did here in main.sass into global and hit save. As you can see, there's nothing happened. Why? Because global Sass is not linked in our main.sass. What I mean by that is main.css is only reading main Sass code. So what we need to do here is to import that code from our global to main.sass. How to do that? Simply type import and then the path /global and then /global. So when I hit save, and yeah, well, what we do in global Sass is still converted into plain CSS here in main.css. So basically, main.sass is the receiver of all the codes that we built in other Sass files. Okay, so again, this is the setup of that. And the next thing, I think we need to create another file. It's called vars.sass. So here, this vars.sass is the one where we should put all the variables that we're going to create and reuse that in all of our Sass files. What do you mean by that? What I mean by that is in CSS we can reuse some of the styling by creating a variable, and we can do that same feature also in our Sass. How to do that? Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. So it's going back to the style guide here. So there they have a primary colors here. Let's try to use this. Let's try to use this basic white. So I'm gonna create a variable called white, and then I'm going to type in the color code of the white, and basically white is just simply FFF or 6 times FFF. Whether you can use 3 or 6, it's still working. And I'm going to add another one, black. Black is #000, or you can use 60. All right, and then we can link that variables here in main.sass. Here at the top, import global slash vars. Why I put variables first before the global? Simply because global cannot read a variable that is not existing. So we need to put first all the variables before global styles read it. Okay. So let's give an example of that. So from here, the h1, let's call the color C black, and when I hit save, there you go, the color now changed to black. Just to confirm if it is working, let's try to add another test color, C red. Hit save and change this C black to C red. Hit save, and there you go, it's working, guys. All right, so I'm gonna remove this and hit save, and as you can see, Sass is giving us a warning. C red is an error because C red variable is not existing. Okay, C black. Okay, so now our global folder is created. I'm going to create also another folder here inside style, and it's called responsive. And from here, we're going to put all the media queries that we need to that we are going to follow, so that we can make our application responsive. And as you can see in the documentation, we have two setup that we need to build. One is for 1440 and one is for 375. So I'm going to create two files for that. Queries dash 1100 that Sass, and then another one queries dash 600 that Sass. So I use 1100 because this is probably the size of a smaller laptop screen, and I think a smaller laptop screen is really how can I say this? It is really comparable to a big tablet. And also here in the 600 pixels, we can already use that to manipulate our styles to make it responsive. And from 600 to 600 pixels below, I think that's good enough to make our styles responsive and customize our styles into mobile approach. Okay, so let's close this one, and I think let's later import that here. I think it's not necessary for now. Okay, so by the way, guys, I already import the images from the project here. So you can see the design. It's just all the design here is the same as here. I just imported here in Figma, and I also forgot to mention, I also convert the HSL version of their color codes in hex code. So here in Figma, they have a color called marine blue 2139618. This is the marine blue. And just to give you a confirmation, let's change this hex to HSL 213, 96, and 18. and going back to hex. So I'm gonna use all of this hex code in our global variables later. Actually, yeah, let's do it right now. So I think this is not needed now. We can just close this, and from our variables, I'm gonna create a comment here called color set. From here, we're going to import all the colors, and I'm gonna name that based on the naming that they have. Okay, so marine blue, so from this code I'm gonna name this marine blue. Let's move these bars here. Marine blue, hashtag save, and next. Purplish blue. Okay guys, so I'm gonna move forward on importing this color code so that you're not getting you're not wasting too much time waiting on this, and I'm going to show you later once I finish converting all the color codes here. Okay guys, so I finished already transferring the styles from their style guide and converting those HSL codes into hex code. So as you can see, the hex code is recognized by Sass by giving you a color palette, but if you're using HSL, it's still working, but it's not gonna give you anything in advance. I mean, in advanced UI, so I think it's not really helpful. But if you have a color palette like this, you already see the code without reading the hex code in the first view. So I'm gonna give you an example of that. Let's see, sample color. So I'm gonna input the HSL. It's still working, but as you can see, it don't show anything, and you have to look carefully on choosing your variables, and maybe there are some cases that you imported a wrong variables because you don't see the color in the first place. All right, so that's why I use hex code for that. Okay, so let's remove this. And also, by the way, I already set up the font size for the body, since they also provided a recommended size for the overall paragraph, I mean body and paragraph element. So I'm just named this as font body, and the size is 16 pixels. And also in Sass, you can use also you can also create a variable calling a variable. So what am I mean by that? So let's say I want to create a background primary, and that background primary is the same as the color of this magnolia. So I can just call directly magnolia here, and this will definitely work. And what are we missing here is the font family. So again, as I mentioned before, you have two options. You can just import the local asset here, the local font asset here in your source folder, or you can just use the link that they provided. So in my case, I'm going to use that. And from here, we're going to select the family. So let's use this 300, 400, 500, 700. So I think that's it. And then we can use the @import and copy the code. So I'm not going to copy the semicolon because again, Sass don't need that code here. Okay, so where should we put this? I think here at the top. I'm gonna create another comment called font resource and import. So from here, I'm gonna hit save. And let's create a font family set. Font family set. And I'm gonna create a variable called font-primary. And let's go back to the fonts Google on how we are going to call that. So let's use this code and paste it here. Okay, so hit save. And now let's test if these variables are working in our globals. So let's first style the body. And since the recommended font size is 16 pixels, we already have that here. So font size will be font $font body, and for the font family, font-family, it will be font $font-primary. Okay, hit save. And let's see. So you can see the font family is already changed here, and also I think we're missing something. Let's try to look on the background. So here there's a slightly bluish background that we're using here in the mockup. So I believe that this one is they're using this color F0, F6FF. Let's check that on our variables. So it's called Magnolia, and I'm gonna call that. So background will be $Magnolia. Hit save. And yeah, it's working. As you can see, background is now changed to Magnolia. So let's check so that we can confirm. Body font size will be 16 pixels. Font family Ubuntu Sans Serif, and the background is F0, F6F, and it's called Magnolia. All right. So yep. Now that our styles folder is already set up, in the next video we will start building our components. All right.